What would you do if the world judged you by a single moment, unaware of the fire burning within? In the heart of Chicago's finest restaurant, where crystal chandeliers cast golden light over polished silverware, a young waitress named Aisha moved with quiet grace. To the wealthy patrons, she was just another face in the service industry, invisible unless they needed something. But tonight, one man's cruelty would unravel a truth that left an entire room breathless. Aisha, 26, had worked at La Belle Étoile for 2 years, her warm smile masking the weight of her struggles. Raised in a small apartment on the South Side, she'd grown up with music as her refuge. Her mother's old piano was her sanctuary through years of hardship. But dreams of Juilliard had faded under the pressure of bills and family obligations. Now, she poured her soul into her job, serving Chicago's elite with a dignity they rarely noticed. Tonight, the restaurant buzzed with its usual crowd: business tycoons, socialites, and one particularly loud man, Richard Caldwell. A real estate mogul worth millions, Caldwell sat at the center table with his entourage, his voice booming over the soft jazz. His tailored suit and gold watch screamed wealth, but his words dripped with arrogance. As Aisha approached with a tray of wine, his eyes locked onto her. "Well, look at this," Caldwell sneered, loud enough for nearby tables to turn. "Did they hire you to make the place look diverse?" His friends chuckled, and Aisha's hand tightened around the tray. She'd heard worse, but the sting never dulled. Keeping her composure, she offered a polite smile and set the glasses down. "Anything else I can get for you, sir?" she asked, her voice steady. Caldwell leaned back, smirking. "Yeah, maybe some talent. You look like you belong in the kitchen, not out here pretending to fit in." The words landed like a slap, and a hush fell over the nearby tables. Aisha's jaw clenched, but she said nothing, turning to walk away. Inside, her heart pounded, not with shame, but with a fire she'd long kept buried. As she moved toward the kitchen, a voice called out, a soft, trembling one. "Excuse me, miss?" It was an older woman at a nearby table, her silver hair pulled into a neat bun, her eyes kind but sharp. "Don't let him get to you. He's just a loudmouth with too much money." Aisha nodded, grateful, but the woman's words lingered. She didn't know Aisha's story, but her small act of kindness felt like a lifeline. The night wore on, and Caldwell's taunts continued. Each time Aisha passed his table, he found a new way to belittle her: her uniform, her accent, her very presence. The other servers whispered in the back, urging her to ignore him, but the humiliation burned. Then came the first twist. A young man, no older than 20, approached Aisha during a quiet moment. He was a busboy, new to the staff, with a nervous energy and a thick Chicago accent. "Hey, Aisha," he whispered, glancing around. "I heard what that jerk said. I know who you are." Aisha frowned, confused. "I saw you play at the community center last year. That piano piece it was unreal. You're, like, a legend in my neighborhood." His name was Jamal, and his words hit her like a forgotten melody. She hadn't played publicly in years, not since her mother's illness drained her time and spirit. Jamal's recognition was a spark, reigniting something she'd thought was lost. But the night wasn't done with her yet. As Aisha cleared plates from another table, Caldwell's voice cut through the air again. "Hey, waitress," he bellowed, pointing toward the grand piano in the corner. "You ever touch that thing, or is it just for show? Bet you can't even play chopsticks." His laughter echoed, and his friends joined in, egging him on. The room grew quiet, all eyes on Aisha. She froze, her tray trembling in her hands. "Come on," Caldwell pressed, his tone mocking. "Play something. Prove you're not just some nobody." The word nobody stung deeper than any insult he'd thrown before. Aisha's eyes darted to the piano, its polished surface gleaming under the lights. She could walk away, keep her head down, and let him win. Or she could show him and everyone who she really was. The second twist came in the form of the restaurant's owner, Mr. Du Bois, who had been watching from the bar. A stern man with a reputation for fairness, he stepped forward, his presence commanding silence. "Miss Aisha," he said, his French accent thick but warm. "If you'd like to play, the piano is yours. No pressure." His words were gentle, but they carried weight. Aisha realized this wasn't just about Caldwell, it was about reclaiming her own voice. She set down her tray and walked to the piano, her heart racing. The room was a sea of eyes, some curious, some skeptical, some hopeful. Caldwell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, smirking as if he'd already won. Aisha sat at the bench, her fingers brushing the keys. For a moment, she was back in her mother's living room, a girl playing to escape the world. Then she began. The first notes of Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major filled the room, soft yet commanding. Her fingers danced with a precision and passion that silenced every whisper. The melody wove through the air, delicate at first, then swelling with emotion. Patrons stopped eating, servers paused mid-step, and even Caldwell's smirk faded. Aisha wasn't just playing, she was pouring out years of pain, resilience, and unspoken dreams. As the final notes lingered, the room erupted in applause. The older woman from earlier wiped a tear from her cheek. Jamal stood near the kitchen, grinning like he'd known all along. Mr. Du Bois nodded, a rare smile breaking his stern demeanor. And Caldwell? He sat motionless, his face pale, his mouth open but silent. For once, the man who thrived on control had no words. Aisha stood, her breath steady, her eyes meeting Caldwell's. She didn't need to say anything, her music had spoken louder than his cruelty ever could. But the story didn't end there. The older woman approached her, her hands trembling as she clasped Aisha's. "My name is Eleanor Price," she said. "I'm a retired music professor. I haven't heard playing like that in years. Would you consider performing at my foundation's gala next month?" Aisha's heart skipped. A gala meant exposure, connections, maybe even a chance to reclaim her dream. She nodded, barely trusting her voice. "I'd be honored." As the night ended, Caldwell left without a word, his entourage trailing behind. The other patrons tipped generously, some slipping Aisha notes of gratitude. Jamal caught her before she left, his eyes bright. "Told you, Aisha. You're a legend." In the days that followed, Aisha's performance became a quiet legend of its own. Word spread through Chicago's music circles, and Eleanor's gala opened doors Aisha had thought were locked forever. She never saw Caldwell again, but she didn't need to. His mockery had been the spark that reignited her fire, and in that moment, she'd proven something far greater than his wealth or status. The power of a soul that refuses to be silenced. The world may judge you by a single moment, but it's the fire within that writes your story. Aisha's was just beginning. Yindi.